Okie dokie. So here we have the V-Joy serial feeder. You can see that I'm waving it around on the screen. And I'm going to start off by simply demonstrating here. I wish I could show you my fingers, but I just can't do that yet. And how I need to calibrate the controller. So this controller is a little bit dodgy because, as you cannot see, there's all these loose wires and breadboard connections, and it's just not solidly put together. But additionally, the calibration of the joysticks is a little crazy, and I think that could be in part because of the various resistances of the breadboard connections that are not that necessarily very good. So what you got to do is first you got to open this up here, and you got to have the V-Joy serial feeder, and then you got to create a profile. So I've created a profile, and you just add an axis, add a button, and you just add as many axes as you need, and with 4 joysticks you need 8, and then you add your buttons, and then you can see that I'm pushing my buttons, and you can see that I'm deflecting my axes. So, let me turn this volume down just a bit for a second. So what we got to do here is we got to calibrate, because here my joysticks are in the middle, but you can see that my numbers are all over the place. So this is one of the problems that I have with longer games, is that I need to recalibrate before the gaming is over. But you just hit calibrate, and it tells you what to do right here. Center the input and press next. Then you press next, and then you wiggle the joystick to all of the extremes, and then you click done. Alright, then you move to the next one. And then you click next, then you wiggle to the extremes, then you click done. And if you just go right down the list, it only takes a minute. And you pretty much have to do this every single time with this DIY game controller that I got. So I'm sure that if you solder all of the connections together, that might do a lot to stabilize out these joysticks. But I honestly don't know. There might be more to the story. But I'm going to go with it just needs to be soldered together. Okie dokie. And there I am. So now I go in here, and I go ahead and I pull up a map, and now I was kind of goofing around. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to do a bit of free flight. Instead of running the course, I'm just going to do a bit of free flight. First I'll use this view right here. So you got to make sure you turn float on. I'm not sure if you can see the float blinking. And then I am now only going to move when I deflect the stick. Alright, so over here on the left, while it's nice and dark, you can see I have that compass, and it moves when I move. So then, that'll tell me my direction, which these double arrows by the 0, that's the direction I'm going to go here. But as you can see up here, that's the direction I'm going here. So it'll tell you all the way 180. So going sideways, I'll go all the way to this. But if I start to reverse, now I'm going to the 180 direction. And now you see that this reverse cursor right up in the middle there just popped up in my screen. And that means that that's exactly the opposite direction of where I'm going. Alright, and now the other 2 lines, again, are the gates, but I'm going to ignore those. And that compass is not really for a true bearing or a relationship bearing. Here you see these reflections. You can actually toggle those reflections on and off. That compass is our relative bearings. So here I'm going to just do some free flying around. So here I'm going to orbit this here superstructure just a minute. Right now you can see me orbiting that superstructure there for a minute. Now I'm going to come over here and I'm going to play with chasing this around. So of course, in order to chase it around, I need to throttle my engine the whole time because this is rotating. It's like a rotating habitat. So this is pretty fun here. Just orbiting this here, trying to maintain my position with this here rotational habitat. It's pretty fun. Alright, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to change my view. Oh my god, I just crashed right into the old wheat farm over here because I wasn't looking. Well, that'll help if I change my view so that I can actually see from behind, because I have a lot more visibility here if I just play like this. You can also see my engines thrusting. That's pretty fun. So this right here is a nice fancy little wheat farm for wheat farming out in space. That's pretty cool. I'm going to go back into an orbit over here. There's my rotating. So in order to stay into position, I need to continuously change my vector. Getting a little bit too close over here. So that's fine. That's a little trick I can figure out how to do. Oh my god. I'm gonna crash. I better get into the safety of the encompassment of the old habitat. That's pretty fun to try to keep your position. Maybe go flying around. That's pretty fun stuff right there. You can really tell it's moving when I go to something else and it's not moving. This is what space traffic navigation is going to be like. Alright, let me get out of here. It's dangerous, I'm going to crash. Alright, well that's going to be my video for now, and I just wanted to kind of show that calibration and then do a little bit of the free flying around. And the last thing I'm going to do here is I'm going to exit out. I'm going to go ahead and bring up the options menu. Now you can already see my backward and my forward. It's already needed to be calibrated, but I wiggled my sticks and it kind of went away there for a second. So you can see that over here. It's stable now. Now you can also see right where the mouse is. My pitch up and my pitch down and my roll left and my roll right. Those are on two different sticks for me, but this game here is everyone pitches and rolls on one stick with the traditional airplanes in space type of control, which is not how I go about it. And you can see we have the float. Could it be on? I don't know. Yeah, and then there's all these, not too much settings, but as far as flying the ship is concerned, It's really quite an interesting thing. I don't use the target velocity, but I don't use the stabilization. Alright, and now we are going to sign it off.